Hello. Okay, so I'm going to share with you today a question that has come through from my little story sticker about what you want to know from me. And this question came up asking, how do you take care of yourself post-release? Now, I have to say that this is something that only people who have been familiar with my work experience, the one-to-one or the groups, probably know what a release means, because I don't want to go into the process, but releasing for me, this is what I do. I help people process their emotions, and it's like a step-by-step process on how you can get the emotions to shift that are stored in your body that are causing the negative presentations and the manifestations in your physical body, in your physiological body, in your mental behavior, in your life, because sometimes the emotions can be so strong and so held that they filter into all areas of your life. So another question that's come up, I would love to know your tips and advice on estrogen dominance. So I might do that in a separate post, if that's okay. So with this one, a release. So when people release, all sorts of fascinating things come out of people's bodies and all sorts of fascinating things happen in their life. But I know that for a lot of people it can be quite scary. So I talk about the physical release when people have processed emotions and they're feeling quite shaky, or maybe their pain in their body has actually exacerbated. The physiological stuff, which I get really fascinated about, is like the cold sores that break out for people, or the pimples, or the sweats, or the body odor, the poos, the pees, the vomits that come out after you have processed emotions, because some of them can be pretty full on. And then the emotional stuff that people notice is they may be more impatient, or they might feel feelings of anger and rage, or they might feel really sad or depressed. So those are the kind of the three components in a real nutshell for you. So when I take my clients through a release, and the reason why I work with people over a 12-week period of time is because most people want to bail out after the first, second, and sometimes the third session, because it is full on. Now, I'm always really wary about how far I can push people and their nervous system and how much people can actually tolerate, because it's not always about going in hard and fast and getting this big cathartic release. Now, this ties in a little bit with feminine and masculine energetics. So masculine would be go and do the process and release your emotions. And that is like the energy of the doing. And we always need to balance the ups with a little bit of rest or coming down. So masculine energy is like go, 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 and then you need to integrate with rest. You cannot stay in either of them permanently. So if you know that you've done a lot of work on yourself and you've done a release and your nervous system needs to just kind of like come down from it and calibrate from the experience, then you need to allow yourself to go into the feminine space. Now, there are lots of things that you can do in the feminine space, but I would be recommending rest. So I tell people no drugs, no alcohol, try and treat your body really nicely over a couple of days, and be prepared that it might feel a little bit achy. You might feel like you're coming down with the flu. Your body might respond in these strange physiological ways, and you want to allow it. So it's giving yourself the space and the time to simply rest. It may be that you need to have lots of naps or go to bed a little bit earlier. So that's why no drugs, no alcohol if you can avoid it, because that's just going to be another stress for your body, another thing for it to process alongside these emotions and all of the things that start to come out. So, going into the feminine space of resting, doing nothing, letting your body heal. You can think of doing a release with your emotions and all the stuff that happens, just like when you get run down and you have a cold. Now, not everyone does this, but you probably should. When you're getting a little bit sick, rest. Rest is going to heal you a lot faster than anything else out there. So When things go up, when they get a little bit heightened, you need to be able to come back down. So it is completely normal if any of you have done sort of emotional release to feel really wiped out, to feel a little bit sore. Maybe, some people feel a little bit fluey. And then again, I talked about all the fascinating other things that can happen for people and the breakouts that they have. It doesn't go on forever, and that's why I say, a lot of people, they have this first or second experience and they're like, I don't know if I can keep handling this. It's not going to be like that every session, and a lot of people resist what comes up because it's pretty full on what you bottle up and suppress for many years. So some people are going to be able to, do the release process on their own. But if you're noticing that you're kind of hitting these walls, hitting this resistance, and you don't really know what's going on and your nervous system isn't able to handle it, that is where it is a good idea to find someone to guide you and have them facilitate the process with you. Because I know that when people want to shift their emotions, they know it's holding them back. Sometimes they go in a little bit too hard. And when you freak your nervous system out, that is when things like re-traumatizing does actually happen. But you just need to understand what is going on for your nervous system. And first and foremost, always make sure that you feel safe in yourself to go and release emotions around specific events. Now, as I said, this share is probably only going to make sense to people who have understood or been through the release process. And I did just remember, I recorded and have got the masterclass, the release masterclass, on the link in my bio, or it's theartoflisteningtoyobody.com/release-masterclass. It's $47 and it's a 2-hour masterclass, 2 hours and 22 minutes, if anyone's interested in numbers like that. 2 hours and 22 minutes, and I do actually cover the release process in depth. It's really informative. I've heard people have listened to it and they have had some interesting shifts in their body. I always love to hear what you get out of it. But if you are curious about this work, that is probably the best place to start. And I do cover a little bit about the chakras and doshas, and you can go from there. So go and grab the masterclass if you are interested to learn more about this work. I share more about my story as well and the things that I had to work on to help shift my own physical manifestations of things going on, and also how I got to where I am doing what I am now. All right, I hope you are well. Everyone's jumping on just as I'm finishing, so I am going to do another live a little bit later. Bye.